Welcome everybody to Amare's Madison County Informed to episode 5. We are going to be talking about homelessness. We are here with the fabulous guests, Hough, Kristen Gaither, and Kristina Sandidge.
I'm pastor of a small church called the Alton Mission, and our church membership includes people who are stuck in poverty, people who've experienced homelessness.
So I was kind of a part of that initial crew that kind of did research and looked at other models and kind of put everything together. And then I just have like time and love this work. And so I've kind of taken on the role of continuing to try to build on it and organize everything, organize our leaders and our volunteers.
Someone had come to me kind of saying, there's this new thing going on, a warming center that's trying to open up, and there's this need for maybe some mental health training, some knowledge. So my husband, who's also a mental health first aid trainer, he was actually the trainer at the time. I kind of got him involved, and then we kind of just jumped in feet first and joined the crew.
So for those that are watching, can you kind of just give just a little bit of breakdown before we get the history of when this started, the overnight warming center? Like, what can someone expect from mental health training?
So mental health training, basically what it is, it's a day-long course. It is something where we teach the average community member how to see the signs and symptoms of mental health challenges, substance use challenges, and then get them connected with the appropriate help that is needed next by using an action plan called ALGE. Things like assessing the situation, listening non-judgmentally, and some other steps that we discuss. And then we also kind of work out situations and how we can actually apply them and see them in action. So it's really a really great hands-on training, and it really helps break down that stereotype that people sometimes have coming into an organization like this, where they might be a little bit more intimidated around that population and unsure how to help somebody.
Like, take us back a little bit of when we started. When are we looking? 2017?
Beginning of 2018. I mean, we started meeting in January, February. So we met for about a year. We knew pretty quickly, just being residents in Alton ourselves, that we were going to have to work with neighborhoods, that we were going to have to work with neighbors. There was going to be some outreach. We knew that there was going to be some stereotypes. We knew that there had been past efforts to help people, and that's like a burden that we feel, that some of the past efforts to help people in Alton, when it's negatively impacted neighbors, then that makes it more difficult for the next person to do something. And so we feel this burden to do this well, to take care of people well, to help neighborhoods thrive, and to help people heal. Like, we want to build momentum for the whole community getting healthier. So I think a lot of times what happens is we look at a person and we say, well, this person is an unhealthy person. But you look at a challenge like homelessness, and you have to also say, if we were a healthier community, then we probably would spend more than $0 trying to work on the issue of homelessness. But right now, in the city's budget, we spend $0 on homelessness, and we have for years, if not decades. So our challenge is to help the community be healthier, as well as help people who don't have housing find their way to healing and flourishing too. And so out of the community that we have and the relationships that we formed, then we were just trying to take the next step of how do we care for one another, and then found other people in the community who were willing to try to work together to create some solutions for people who are our most vulnerable neighbors.
What do you guys feel that you have learned from this journey so far?
Everybody's story is different. I think lots of people like to generalize someone who's experiencing homelessness, that, like you said, they did it to themselves. But we come in and realize that a lot of these individuals who come in all have different stories. They have different reasons why they're here, and they're leading different paths. They're on different recoveries. And so we kind of meet them where they're at and try to get them the help they need at that time, and try to be those good neighbors to them.
I'll jump off that. That's actually the first one that came to mind. And then while you were talking too, I think I've learned the gifts in our community and the things that everybody has to offer. They all have stories, and also we all have like gifts and strengths. And there's been but a lot of situations in the past few years where I'll learn something about a guest because we have a situation here that I need help with. And I'll say that about our volunteer base too. Like, when I look at our spreadsheet of and people have to write down what their skills are, what they bring, it's just a beautiful picture of how much strength we all have when we know our strengths and are encouraging one another to use those.
What each and one of you said is amazing, because we don't know people's stories. We find out new things about people, and then remembering that people do have value, and we treat them as human. I think society has, even in old texts going back centuries, you can read stuff, and there was a sect of the population that just labels. We all know about labels, and we put labels on people, and then when we put labels on people, there is usually something that is anchored to that label. And working in the field that we all work in, some of us volunteers, some of us professionally, you understand that they do have value, and sometimes they just need that nudge and someone saying, it's okay, you don't have to be homeless forever, you don't have to battle addiction forever. Mental health, your diagnosis doesn't have to be forever. There are therapies, there are treatment, there is support. And I think that's one of the things here down at the Alton Warming Center that you guys are really kind of driving home.
In trying to push the community to be better, the whole city to be healthier, it's sort of like, I think what's happening in Madison County, and let me take a step back. I think part of what's happening in Madison County is there are a lot of municipalities that are saying, we don't want to do anything for people who are experiencing homelessness or people who are in chronic poverty, or whatever the different categories are that we're afraid of. Well, why are we afraid of that? Well, because mayors and administrators and all that, police chiefs, are afraid that if we do something, everybody in Madison County is going to send their homeless people to us, and
right.
We're just going to be inundated. The fear behind that fear is a belief that we are incapable of addressing these problems effectively. So if you believe that we can be the kind of community that can help people get to wellness, then you're not afraid of more people coming, because that's just more potential and future success stories that you're going to have. And so it's kind of like as a community, we look at somebody who's experiencing homelessness and we go, why can't you get your act together? But then at the same time we go, we're totally overwhelmed and intimidated by the problems they're facing, and we don't think it's possible to walk with them toward healing. So I think as a community, we just have to confront, number one, we're putting a burden on people to solve problems that we don't think can be solved anyway. And number two, to provide some encouragement that there are, what people might hear as success stories, that there are people who are making those journeys toward wellness and even flourishing. So it is possible. And so this is an effort to get people who are experiencing poverty or homelessness to believe in themselves and what's possible, but it's doing the exact same thing for our wider community. Believe that it's possible for people to get well.
Everybody, that is Madison County episode 5. We talked about homelessness, about the Alton Warming Center. As you heard, one of the biggest ways you can help is either volunteer or send in a donation. If anybody wants to get involved, this is a really great group of people, so I highly encourage it. I know there's a lot of people that I talk to that want to see the community get healthier, heal with one another, and serve people. And that's exactly what the Warming Center is doing. So if you're at home, give these guys a round of applause, and we thank you.